Hello and welcome to the RDHD IT services. My name is Divesh and today I am going to teach you how to create a simple microservice in Laravel. So microservice is a lightweight and independent service that can be deployed anywhere, and it basically performs the specific task or a specific function as a part of the larger system. So today I'm going to focus on routing, controllers and response. So without any delay, let's start. So first thing first, so I'm going to run my PHP application, PHP server, and I have installed the Jam server in here. So let's start my PHP services. So guys, all the services has stopped. Now I'm going to restart all the services. So this is basically Apache web server to run the PHP, and then it also has the MySQL database and the rest. So once we start, I'm also going to open the VS Code. So I use VS Code as my IDE. And what happened to this? So let's open a folder and my applications, and I have installed my application in Jam. So in docs, let's choose this one of the folder, and then let's start here. So let's go to the terminal, and there are multiple ways you can set up the Laravel project. So to guide you, I'm going to take you to the Laravel website. So Laravel documentation, okay, and then so now we are in the Laravel documentation. Now if you getting started, let's see installation. There are many ways to install the Laravel, and if you have globally installed the Laravel, then you should be able to use the Laravel command like this. I have installed the composer globally, so I'll be using the composer command, but you can use whatever you want. So inside this RDHD, I'm gonna copy and paste that one, and we're gonna name our application as microservice app, right? So now this is creating a fresh Laravel project for me. It will take a little time to extract all the packages and do the configuration. So now you can see I have the fresh Laravel application in here, and it will generate the auto loading files, and it will also generate the key, and then we know the setup has been completed. So let's wait for a few minutes. It shouldn't take long. There you go. So now we have successfully created a fresh Laravel project. Now I'm gonna go inside this. I'm gonna open this project which is this one, so that we don't get confused. So this is our fresh Laravel installation. And now what we're going to do, we are creating a microservice application. So let's do one thing. Let's set up a database. So this is the default database setting, and we're gonna be using the MySQL one, so this one, and I'm gonna give the database name as Laravel microservice db, and hit save. So let's make sure I don't have that in my database. Localhost PHP myadmin. So I'm going to check my database, and we have this. So this one should be fine. So I have given the name Laravel microservice db. Now let's go to the terminal, and what we want to do is let's create a fresh model. So to create the fresh model, we will be using the artisan command. So the command is php artisan make model, and we're gonna make a fresh model called product, and we also need the migration. So -m, hit enter. Now it says the model has been created successfully, and also it has created the migration table for us. So let's check this one, app models product. So inside this app, and then we go inside the models, and then this is the fresh model that we have created. Now we have created the migration. So inside the database migration, we have this create products table. So this is the fresh migration that we have created for now, and it has inside this migration we always have this up and down command. So when we run the migration, this command will run, and when we drop the migration or roll back the migration, this command will run. So we need the product table, and currently the product table will have like the ID and then the created at and updated at column, which are the timestamps. So let's make it simple. We're gonna be doing string, and we need the name of the product, so string name, and then we also need the price, and the price gonna be in decimal. Let's say we call it the price, and then we need 8,2. So there you go. So we have created extra 2 columns called name and price. So this schema should be ready to go. So let's save this one. Now what we want to do is we want to run this migration. So after running the migration, in the database table, in the database we should have the table called products, and the products table should have these column names. Let's see. So let's start with php artisan migrate. So it says, because this is the first time we are running this migration, and it doesn't have this TV that we defined in our env file, so it is asking us if we would like to create the fresh TV. Yes, and then hit enter. So it has run the migration, and you can see inside the migration we have all other migrations as well. So it has run all these migrations. So to validate this one, let's go back to the localhost php myadmin, and then this one looks like, and this is the one, and we have created the table called product. And if we look at the structure, so we have the price decimal a2, and then we have the name, and with this created with this timestamp we have this created and updated at column. So you can always look at the eloquent sections or schema sections. You can always follow the documentation on how to create the columns, modify the columns, and how to alter the migration, etc. So we have defined our database in the environment file, and then we have created a model called product, and then we have created the migration table, and then we added this table to the database. Now so the Laravel, what Laravel does is ORP, object relationship mapping, ORM, and which will be like one-to-one mapping with the database table. So that's why we have created this model called product, and then we also need the controller. So let's create a controller called PHP artisan make controller, and the controller will be product controller. So the controller has been created successfully. So inside the app, and then http, and then inside the controller. So this is the fresh controller that we have created just now via the PHP artisan command. Now let's go to inside this controller, and then what we are going to do is, for the microservice application, we are going to take a post request and store the information into the database. Let's do that one. So what do we need is, we need a function called store, and this gonna take request, which is this request here, and right. So inside this request, what we'll be doing is product is equal to, because Laravel does the route model binding. So if we write a product here, it binds to the model class. So how we're gonna do is, let's create from the request. So we are taking this request all. So basically what we are doing is we are creating a fresh product from the request, right? So product, let's use this one. Product is inside the app, and then models product. There you go. So this is our store function, and once we have that one, what we want to return the JSON response. So response status, okay, and then with this response I wanna convert this to the JSON, and within the JSON, once the created, we have assigned this to the product. So let's return the product that we get, and with the status of 201, right? Just a simple thing. So we create the product from the incoming request, and then we return the response as 201, right? So because now we know that our product controller has this function, we can use this function by defining the route. So let's go to the, because this is going to be the API, so let's define the routes. So to define the route, we go inside the route, and then there are multiple routes in here, and because we are taking the request via API, so I'm going inside this API and I'm going to create a fresh route here. This will be the post request, and we want to call this as add product or products. We want to call this as add product, and then and then for this method what we want to do is we want to use the product controller and want to hit the method that we recently created, which is going to be the store method, right? So this is our route in API. We can name the route, but for this one it is not necessary. Right, so now we have this route. So basically the microservice should be ready now. It can take a post request, and then it goes to the controller and hit the store method, which is this one, and with this store method it will create a fresh product. It will in the database and then return the JSON response, right? And to do that, what we need, okay, let's go to the model. Let's check. We also need to define the fillable property, because we have added extra parameter fields in here. So I'm gonna copy this one, and inside this what are the fillable properties? We have name and the price. Am I correct? Let's do this one. Now, okay, let's check the postman. I'm gonna create a blank collection, and so inside this collection, this is microservice app, and I'm going to add a request, so which is going to be, before adding the request, let's do one thing. I'm gonna go back and let's run if this PHP artisan serve. This will run this application to this. So let's check. Yep, we have this application running in this server, and I'm in the local host. And then what is our route? We call this as a add product, right? And this is going to be our route, and we want the JSON, and what we are doing is what we need is the name of the product. Let's call this as a product 1, and then we need the price of the product. Actually, using double quote would be good, but it really doesn't matter, but it's still 200.50, let's say. Okay, let's use the double quote instead of the single quote. Now this is a simple JSON for microservice, and then this is the simple route, and the route gonna be the post request, and let's hit send. Status 404 not found. The request resource could not found. Okay, so what went wrong? Let me check what I've done wrong. Okay, let me check what version of the Laravel this one is. So let's refer back to the Laravel, and then all right, okay, let's use the new method for the route, which is, I'm going to copy it from here. All I need is the not the control routing. So I'm going to use one of these. And also we haven't, okay, let's check, we haven't added the controller here. Let's add the controller first. Yes, product controller. Let's see if this works first. Still the same. Okay, now I'm gonna change this route to this way. It is going to be the post request, and we call this as add product, and we use this product controller class, and we're gonna hit the method called store. Now we don't need this one. It's basically the same thing, it's just the syntax. So now let's check add product. Oh right, okay, because this is the API route. Sorry guys, my bad. We have to do this, like we have to prepare the API, and now you can see we are getting the data back from the database. Let's see the pretty version. So this is the request that we have sent, and this is the response that we get back. So this is pretty much working. We can also like predefine our response, and in our response we could also say like don't return the ID, and we could hide these parameters, and also with these timestamps we can properly format the timestamps and then return whatever we want. But for this project, a simple microservice application, I don't want to confuse you too much, so let's in this one here, right? So basically this is it for the simple microservice application. So now you have seen how we can create the simple microservice application, and for the next video I will be guiding you on how you can predefine your JSON response and using the resource control, using the resource, and also how you can validate this incoming request in the controller itself, or using the middleware. So stay tuned and see you in the next video. Bye bye. Thanks guys.